This video is brought to you by Cracks Only. Check out the link in the video description below to get to their website and check out their latest products. Trust me, you do not want to miss them. What's going on, people? Welcome to the Full View. Happy 15th of Jan evening. You know what I mean? Happy 15th of Jan evening time. You know what I'm saying? We've got a lot to talk about. Kenny in the building, KG in the building, Minute in the building. She said this morning, she said the Full View is going to be interesting. 100%. Owen knows that it is going to be interesting as well. And actually, at the point of saying that was before Rashford came out with co-signing a statement that was made on behalf of him on Twitter. But we're going to get into that. We're going to get into that plus a whole host of other stuff. Smash a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. Remember, like I've said this morning, this video as well, the Full View is brought to you by Cracks Only. Big streetwear brand and football wear brand out there in LA. KG knows all about it. As you can see, I was there in the promo video when we was in America. We're doing some great stuff with them, whether it's if you play, you need your grip socks, you need your underlayers, you name it, you got it. If you need your wash bags, your boot bags, etc., it's all there. Your training gear, or if you don't play football and it's just a straight fashion thing, your tracksuits, your t-shirts, your short sets, your beanie hats, your backpacks, everything, they've got it all there. The link is in the video description below, so check out all of their stuff. And like I said, we're doing a lot of stuff with them. Someone just said as well, what's going on with United District as well. I know you guys all know United District. If you follow Man United through social media, on X and other outlets, you know how big United District are. We've got some good stuff coming with them, so look out for that. They're nearly at 1 million followers on X as well. So loads of stuff coming out with them as well from UV and us too. But we got a lot to get into, guys, as per usual with this team. We got a lot to get into. Let's go straight to the context of what's going on. Rashford sets record straight. You might be tuning in this evening saying, has Rashford done a Sancho? Has he gone on his phone and like typed something out in the notes and then screenshotted it and put it out as a statement? No, he hasn't done that. But let's just give you a little bit more context as to what he has done, what it means, so we can dissect it a little bit more and then just use that as a talking point from there, really. Owen, over to you, bro.
Yes, so as you can see on the screen right there, a lot of people were talking about the Rashford celebration of the weekend. You can see in the picture of him doing the hand gesture as if to say, keep talking, or people stop talking, however you want to interpret it. And Roy Keane, after the game, said on Sky Sports as part of his analysis, saying that he's got no right to be upset with the criticism about him. He's not done the business, is what Roy Keane said, as well as Jamie Redknapp, who was in the studio. Now, someone quote tweeted this and said, he's clearly referring to the abuse he's been subjected to this week since he's commented on Jadon Sancho's post. That was the post referring to him back on Instagram. I think it was holding up the shirt and all that kind of stuff. It continues by saying they literally questioned his loyalty and commitment to us, and he didn't shut them up. And he did shut them up by scoring and assisting. If he didn't score, he shite. If he does, it's this BS. Marcus Rashford then responded to this by saying, thank you for clarifying this matter. Essentially sort of co-signing, going, exactly, I was doing that celebration in reference to those people that were talking about, I guess, my loyalty to Manchester United with the post about Jadon Sancho and nothing else. So Rashford, I guess, hitting back on not only, I suppose, Roy Keane, but also others that said they weren't a fan of that celebration flex.
Yeah. I kind of want to go around the room first. Actually, I've done a lot of talk. KG smirking, yeah, KG smirking. He's gonna have his thoughts on that.
I'm just laughing because of the assist thing. Because a lot of people, like, I was in the ground, so I thought it was an assist, and this person's still calling it assist right now, which is
fell over.
That's why I'm laughing about that.
Yeah, it definitely wasn't an assist. Well, if it's an assist to do Udogie, if you want to give it to him, but it was not a Rashford assist. Let's go around the room first. I don't want to dominate this, and let's go around the room. Any takers of your perception? Minna, What's your perception? Actually, let's get it back. When you saw him doing that, Mina, did you even think anything about it? Did you care? Did you just think, whatever, man? He's just
I tweeted saying like that I liked the celebration because immediately I knew what it was. He was saying all that talk. Now look, basically, I don't.
But all that talk, all that like what he's saying now.
I think he's saying all the talk, just people talking about me and I'm scoring. And I don't think it was a dig at the fans. I don't think it's like when a player runs and like shushes the crowd.
Yeah,
you know that
his
they are
own
shushing
fans.
that crowd. I don't think he was purposely doing it to United fans, but for me, it's like just read the room. Just read the room. Is like I think people are making what's that saying? A mole out of a mountain mole or a mountain mole, something like that.
Mole out of a mountain, did he just say?
I said mole out of a mountain wall. But English ain't my first language. English ain't my first language.
That's true. We do forget that, Mina. That's not your first language. People just assume that it's your first language. Yeah.
But was it antelope? Was it
I thought she said I'm African with it, and she said a mountain out of an antelope, and I was about to say she's taking a piss.
Yeah. But you don't know what I mean. You don't know what I mean in it. You get my gist. You get my gist. For me, it's just like I feel like with Rashford, unfortunately, I feel like a lot of fans and just people in general just want to criticize him because of the season that he's had this year. It's as simple as that. And I think the whole Jadon Sancho thing was probably just something very small. I personally don't think it's a big deal. I think if you move away from the aspects of football, people are friends. At the end of the day, there's more to life than just football, and people are friends. I know some people might not expect me to say it, but if he didn't comment on his friend's social media post publicly supporting him, saying just good luck or whatever, then I would look at him and be like, what kind of friend is he?
Might have done it in private. That's all that matters, isn't it?
Yeah, but the thing is right now everything is the court of social media. Everything is the court of social media. You get tried on social media, you are held guilty on social media, or the jury is out and you get found non-guilty. Unfortunately, that's the times that we're living in, especially when it comes to football. I just think it's something so small that people are making a big deal out of. I think the bigger thing that we should talk about is his inconsistent performances. Why do I care about celebration? Is the celebration the reason why we drew yesterday? The celebration ain't the reason. Let's talk about the performance. Let's talk about the big elephant in the room.
But so when he's shushing people and saying stop talking about me, is it justified then? If like what you're saying, let's talk about the performances. They ain't been good. So who are you shushing?
No, exactly. That's what I'm saying. He needs to read the room. But sometimes I'm not gonna lie, a celebration is just a celebration. Am I the only one that thinks a celebration ain't?
Well, let's go to KG.
You got to keep that same energy. You got to keep that same energy when it comes to Harry Maguire and the fingers in the ears, though. It's the same thing, isn't it? It's the same thing. Remember when he did it and they went, Harry, what's the fingers in the ear thing about? And he went, about nothing. I don't know what you're talking about. Like, come on. Like, this is the thing with it as well. It's like he can go, it's very weird to draw that line. I'm only talking about the people that were talking specifically about the Jadon Sancho thing this week. That's what that was about. It's got nothing to do with the fact that that was my first goal at Old Trafford since May of last year, and people have been criticizing me all season about it. Like, when you do that kind of celebration, it's like the Maguire thing. What's that?
What was that?
It's the video Mina sent me. I didn't realize my phone was still connected to the thing.
when you do that kind of celebration, again, like the Maguire thing, people are going to obviously interpret it a million different ways. So you either do it and then just be like, keep talking. That's what it was about. Blanket statement. You don't get to then define, oh no, it was only about this. It was only about that. Like, you're opening yourself up for ambiguous interpretations of it, right? And I'm like, to be honest, like the whole thing with the Sancho stuff, putting it on the post, I didn't care about that. I don't care. Like you said, they're friends. Like who cares? I didn't question his loyalty. The crux of the matter always is like, just play well for Man United. Just play well. You just got a new contract. Just play well. And it's like that Maguire celebration when you put your fingers in your ears, and it just comes across to me. And I don't know what Kenny and UKG think about it, but to me, it just comes across as quite tone deaf of like, see people talking because he scored yesterday, but he still didn't play well yesterday. There's still massive problems with Marcus Rashford. Kenny, I don't know what you thought.
Matt, I don't care if I'm being honest. Do you know what I mean? I know I'm being honest from the point of view that if he's mates with Jadon Sancho, good luck. Sadly, we live in a world of TikTok and social media and algorithms and clicks and this, that, and the other. When ultimately, all Man United fans, if you went to that game yesterday, you'd have paid £60. £60. Do you know what I mean? To watch that crap. And that's what it was. And ultimately, Marcus Rashford wants to come out and do that. Do you know what I mean? I'll do that. I'm not interested. Put the ball in the back of the net, lad. The fans are giving you, along with everybody else, £300,000 a week. I ain't bothered about who you're friends with on Instagram or what you said to Jadon Sancho. Do the job on the pitch. Because if you don't, the fans will turn. You cannot come out and score a goal and then make any gesture at all or try to defend anything against what you think the fans are saying. The fans are paying your wages. And if they're not abusing you, but they're actually being a critique of your performance, accept it. Because you're accepting the £300,000 a week. When you played crap all this season, you haven't gone back into the to give your paycheck back because you were awful and you up and down the pitch when you should have been chasing back. You wasn't going back to then. You know, when your paycheck come and said, "I've been poor this week. Here, I'll give you my £300,000 back." No, get on with it, lad. Because you're in a very, very privileged position and you should use that. Do not get at any fan that gives you criticism or make gestures towards fans because you're out of order, I think. You're out of order. Then fans could have quite easily this year booed and hissed and everything would have been in the rights because you've been awful. You've been awful. You have not been fit for that badge. So for me, get on with it. Get your head down. You're a great lad. You're a good kid. You do a lot outside of the game. Everybody knows that. But ultimately, you will be judged by the fans of Man United, not the TikTokers, not the people that are looking at algorithms, not the people that are looking at your social media content, the fans of Manchester United. That's all you need to be bothered about.
Strong words from Kenny there. Big words from Kenny. Let me just get these super chats out. Actually, a lot of people getting involved in the chat. Some people completely disagreeing on this. All Elite says, member for 16 months, says he just thinks he's better than he is. He's mid at best, and you cannot be mad at people when your performances have been this bad. Just not good enough. Kyle says, multimillionaire gets defended by some guy on X, says Kyle. And Maka says, we've had a year and a half and we still have no style to play. Eric Ten Hag makes the same mistakes and excuses. He ain't cut out for United. Rival fans mock it. We're definitely going to get on to, this ain't just going to be just talking about Rashford. It was just interesting that he co-signed. I just found it interesting that he actually co-signed that's a statement. And it's like just from some random person on Twitter. And he's like, yes, he's read it and said, everything that you've just said, yes, thank you for clarifying that. That's what it is. So he's not mixing his work. He's stood by the statement. He's attached his name to some random person on Twitter who's written a paragraph. And it isn't like, it's not a professional PR piece. It's like, it is like an actual fan who's like, what's the bit he actually says again? So he clearly, so they literally questioned his loyalty and committed to us. And he shut them up by scoring and assisting. Like we said, it wasn't an assist, but cool. If he didn't score, he's shite. If he does, it's this bullshit. Shake my head. So that's like not a professional way of like saying stuff. So it's not like a PR firm that's like, Marcus wants to put this out from his camp and calm things down. It's a random fan saying it's the real frustrations of Marcus Rashford through the voice of that fan, which I just feels like, oh, okay, that's a bit weird. I just thought you just get on with it, but okay, you've explained it. So it was more for me of just like, I just think it's me personally. I think it's easy to just say it's just that Sancho thing. I personally think it's just the everythingness. It's just having a bad time. He's looked hung dog expression for a while now. Has it been since the Arsenal game? Because he scored in that Arsenal game, didn't he? Yeah, it's a good goal. And then the thing happened with Jadon. Are we then trying to marry the two together and say, well, that's his friend, and because his friend's been going through it and he thinks it's a disservice and all that, that's why he's been like this? Because that's not an excuse either. Because you've got to just, that's what I'm saying. That's even worse. That's even worse.
Yeah, so, I would agree, definitely. If it's coming out there, or if there's anything that comes out in future, and part of the issue around this season's performances by some players is the Jadon Sancho issues got to them. That is awful, that, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. That's the whole player power thing we're actually talking about.
Exactly.
I got no problem with, of course, these guys are friends. I'm with Minna on that bit. Like, yeah, these guys are all friends. There's a dressing room, it's a place of work. Like in the group chat, the WhatsApp, they're going, oh, I can't believe Eric's done that to you, man. What an idiot. What's he thinking? but they're not going to say it in public. They're going to do their job, etc., etc. What goes on in private goes on in private. But I just think it's just a bit off-putting when he's like going through the voice of that fan, when the fan's using language like, if you don't score, he's shite, or they'll spout this bullshit, right? It's just like, that's what Rashford really thinks. He's saying, that's what I really think. And that's what he thinks, cool. But just, you know what, just like Kenny said, just get back to performing, bro. Because that's, for me, that's my biggest gripe. My biggest gripe is, how dare you. I just want you to play good. I just want you to play good, and you're not playing good. So, KG, where do you stand?
It's mad. I don't I didn't even know about this. No, not really. I was kind of just to be honest, I was more happy he scored a goal yesterday. I didn't see that. The one thing that pissed me off at the game was Richarlison done like a bow to like the Stretford end or something like that. It was disgusting. No yellow card, no nothing. Like, I was more pissed off at that. Like, that thing got my blood going. I didn't even see Rashi, but maybe because where it happened, I just didn't see it in that thing.
It's like that end,
I didn't. Even if he does the talking celebration, I don't care. Like, score. My thing is, I want my striker scoring. I need these guys in and amongst the goals. I was happy him and Rasmus got one. Hopefully, he can build on that. Do you know what I mean? That's all I'm like. I'm not really gonna get into the mix of thingy because it's not adding to it. It's not even helping it, really. I just want him playing good. End of the day, he just signed a big contract. We need him to turn his form around. And remember in the car when we was driving, you said, Flex, you was like, I need Rashford to score.
Yeah, need him to just turn up.
I was going to say, can I stir up some stuff whilst what you said talking about the car? I've heard through sources today that KG and Flex might have been going at each other quite a bit in the car ride home yesterday over sort of contrasting viewpoints. So I don't know if you want to bring that to the table, KG. Explain your perception of things.
Well, I came out the game and I was like, all right. And Flex was mad. And I was like, what do you want? Do you want my fan? Are you trying to change my fan cam into your fan cam? I don't feel how you feel. And he goes, nah, because what? Are you happy with that? And I goes, no, but I know what this team is. It's the same. It's the argument we've been having for years. Then it got even more. It was like, and listen, I don't know if Flex wants to say it, but he goes, when are we going to talk about the manager? Harsh, What are you doing? And I said, look, Flex, okay, I like this conversation. But what are we saying about the manager? Because let us know. Everyone needs to draw real firm lines. Because today I've been under the pressure. A lot of people coming out saying, cuss out the team, call out the manager. And I'm like, the manager's made so many mistakes. I'm not trying to eliminate what the manager's done at this club. But what do you want to do right now? Right now, does anyone want to press the trigger on the manager? I don't know if I done a poll today, and 60% of the people were like, keep the manager to the end of the season. Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying let's wait and see. I would like to go. This is what I really want. I would give this manager with a new transfer window and the people above him till next Jan. That's where he's got for me. I feel like he deserves till Jan to see what's going on. To really with him not doing signings. I think there's a good coach there. I honestly do. I think that McTominay's not part of his plans. I think that he's had to use McTominay in the tougher moments. I feel like some of these players I still believe that some of these players are just not good enough. And there's been unlucky, and he's been silly. Like, even in that game, he should have said Rashford switch to the right hand side and then let Garnacho run at Pedro Porro. He didn't do that. But maybe he thought that Rashford's not going to help out Delo because Wan-Bissaka could deal with them not getting back, but then it's not going to work on the other side. I don't know. I don't have the answers. But one thing I do know is the manager is at fault for, I would say, 40% of how this thing is looking at the moment. But the rest is...
With that then, KG, Flex, do you care to respond? KG's given his interpretation of how yesterday went. He said, said some things. How do you perceive that yesterday went? And what do you think of what KG is saying?
Yes. My thing of when we came out, so obviously I was fuming. I said it in my thing. I said, I'm not having that. I'm disappointed. Don't like that performance. It stunk. Personally, that's how I see it. I didn't see it as, at least we didn't lose. I saw it as that was poor because I looked at Spurs' team and I'm seeing some dead players in there. And the way that they played, the system that they played it in, I just didn't like what I saw. So obviously I came out vexed and KG was like, yeah, but it's not all bad. Like, it's what, are you mad at that? Like, what are you like mad, man? I'm like, well, But that was shit though. Like, what are you not saying that shit? We was on that level. And then my thing is that I feel that as soon as you like start to steer the conversation towards Ten Hag and try and stay on that topic for a little bit, I feel like people think you're trying to X out every other thing that is wrong, because there are a lot of things that are wrong at Man United. We know it's a graveyard for players. We know it's a graveyard for managers. We know it's wrong. Hence why we're saying to Jim, yes, you need to come in and you need to change stuff, and we need to wait for that change to happen. But we can absolutely have Ten Hag conversations like about what's happened, the players that he's brought in. How did we look that bad against that dead side, against like Skip and Højbjerg and them? Like, do you know what I'm saying? And then it's like, so that means you're Erik Ten Hag out then. That means you may as well just say, and I'm saying, no, it means that for this moment, I'm saying for that 90 minutes of play, we have to look at the lack of what's gone on with the coaching. I listened to Cam, and Cam was saying to me, it's all fitness. It's just that they're not fit. That's the only reason why we don't look good. And I'm going, but you haven't mentioned Ten Hag's name. What? Well, you can't just say that. What do you mean? You just, like, there's bits like, yeah, of course we gas out. You can say that. So conditioning is an issue. But when he said, I'm 100% sure it's all, if we were fit, because I said, so you can see exactly what Ten Hag's trying to do. Yes, I can. It's just because the players aren't fit enough. And I'm like, well, this proves my point. Like, as soon as we're trying to talk about the manager and the lack of what he may be doing and what he needs to get better at, and quickly too, by the way, we just move it to, yeah, but we know we're dead. Or McTominay's rubbish, though. Yeah, but we've been losing all season. Yeah, but this. Yeah, but that. Just talk about the Ten Hag thing for a little bit. That's all I'm saying. That doesn't mean he has to go now. It doesn't mean I want him out now. It doesn't mean it's all his fault. But what I'm saying is like how we speak about Ineos, like how we speak about injuries, like how we speak about all these other things, McTominay not being good enough, or Rashford's been crap since he signed a new deal, or Bruno keeps giving the ball away. You can talk about coaching. Like, we've had him for a year, and we did well, where we wasn't really looking at the style of play and stuff like that. And then now we're looking at it differently and say we want to see it. But then we're looking at another manager who's only been there 6 months, and he has a style of play. We're looking at a manager in Unai Emery who took over when Villa were mash up with pretty much the same players and near the relegation zone with Gerrard. He's got a style of play, and for the last 18 months, they've been doing this. Why can't we draw some parallels? Eddie Howe. Don't get me wrong, they've been decimated with injuries.
And bottom of the league when he took over.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And, they've run out a bit of gas now, and we're above them. So, cool. I'm not saying that. But they're competing, and I know how they're going to play. Why can't we just talk about that? That doesn't mean that I want Ten Hag to be out right now. And I'm not saying that. And I'm saying is also, when these players come back, like Casemiro and obviously Licha, which is, obviously we need them back. I was like, okay, then, so do we feel like Martinez, we're just a Martinez and Casemiro away from being cohesive and playing really well? Because I don't think that. So that's just where I was at.
I think the other thing that I'm looking at as well is that I don't mean a generational thing, but if you look now, I think the average football fan is more intelligent about football and tactics than what it's ever been. And simply because you have got access to the information. So you can see when you look at the analysts and they come on and they're showing you that, this is what Elbo's going to do at this stage. Eddie Howe does this, and is that when X does this, Y does that, and when they lose the ball, they go into this shape or whatever. So all of a sudden, and that's an education for football fans that you never used to have, because all you used to have was Match of the Day and the back of the Daily Mirror, and that was it, right? So you worked it out yourself. Now there's that much information. So when we were watching Tottenham yesterday, and we're watching Newcastle, even though Tottenham had a depleted side yesterday, we knew what they was going to do. We just knew the patterns of play. So us as fans, as Man United fans, our expectation levels are that, Ten Hag is going to do this, that and the other. But when you watch it out in front of your own eyes and it unwinds, it doesn't happen. It does not happen. You see Bruno at left back, at right back, and then he's playing number 10. You just don't see these patterns of play. You don't see the transitions. And I'm not trying to be clever here about using football terminology, but that's how football fans are. You can be in the ground now and you will hear fans or whatever talking, and they can see, they can read what's going on, what the opposition are doing, and so on and so on. And that's about football intelligence. So the fans know, you know, it's not like in the past where get stuck in and get stuck into them and do this and that, because that was the chant. That was the chant there. Our frustration as fans is we can see the opposition that, and you know, and you've mentioned Aston Villa. Correct me if I'm wrong. You and I spoke after the Aston Villa match, and we had the tactics what Aston Villa were going to use, and United countered that perfectly because we could see it. We understood what was happening in the game. We could see that the eye line wasn't working for Aston Villa. And I think that's what he tried to do yesterday, by the way. I thought he was going to try to play a counter-attack. It didn't work because Tottenham Hotspur sat 10 yards deeper. That was it. And we couldn't get round that. We couldn't do it. And every time they ran forward with the ball, our midfield, they just ran through us. It was awful. It was awful. I don't care what anybody says. It was great to see Rasmus score. It was great to see Rashford. But apart from that, I saw a goalkeeper. We were absolutely made up when we was going to sign a goalkeeper that came off his line for crosses. We all mentioned it. We all criticised the here last season, the season before. It doesn't come for crosses. It doesn't come for crosses. When we watched Milan and when we watched them playing, then we thought, right, he's going to come for crosses. Yesterday was completely static. It's as if
it's not his game.
Feared.
It's not his game.
You know, but what I'm saying is, from our point of view as fans, I think we are more wary now and conscious of what we're not doing and what other teams are doing.
And well, because we can see it, yeah, we can see it. We can see it,
and we can see what other teams are doing and managers and styles of play. We've not got it.
Minna, what are you saying on this? You know, I've had my say, KG's had to say, Kenny's had to say, like just the manager and just like where we at and injuries. Just how do you see everything?
I think it's an unfortunate situation to be in. I think to give the manager another 2 transfer windows. I hear where KG's coming from in the instance that he would have the structure above him where, you know, it's not like he would be in charge of the transfers and he would be bringing in his players. It wouldn't be like that. But for me, it's like yesterday's game. You look at Tottenham fans were upset. Like, we're upset because we just played crap. They were upset that they didn't leave with a win because they fully felt like they could have from that performance.
Even
and we talk
with
about
players missing.
All them players missing. We talk about just like technical ability, and we talk about the players they have and the players that we have. You know, when Scott McTominay is still part of the solution, that is a problem. You know, you look at Erik ten Hag and his inability to, I will say, implement his philosophy and his style of football. You know, you look at there's players like Spurs, Skip, etc., playing the way that the manager wants them to, implementing the style of football that the manager wants him to. McTominay ain't really doing that. You know, United, unfortunately, players like Eriksen, I think Eriksen's a great player. Yeah, I think going forward, amazing. But I think the defensive liability that he is, it is just gaping holes in our midfield. And unfortunately, we've spent 60 million on a midfielder that has spent more time out injured this season than he did in his other seasons at Chelsea. He's already been out for
Has he gone past that now? Because last year he was out for time at Chelsea.
Yeah, he's passed the record, and we're only halfway through the season.
Yeah. And last year he was out injured for time for Chelsea.
We could have not spent that 60 million, and it would have made no flipping difference. It would have made no difference if we did or didn't spend that 60 million and brought in Mason Mount. And I don't want to target him particularly, but it's more so, this is more so aimed at Erik ten Hag and bringing these players in. You know, I think players like Rasmus Højlund, who's struggled in the league, 2 goals in the league. I'm so happy for him. Yesterday's goal was an absolute belter, but he's got the weight of the world on his shoulders right now. United should never have done that to him. They gave him that responsibility. A 20-year-old kid, 70 million price tag, telling him, come in, lead the front line. When, you know what, I will be very honest. I think United need a striker, right? And I think we still need one, even though we have Rasmus Højlund. But I don't think a striker would solve the problems that we have. I think that there's a lot more other issues in the team, in the starting 11 that we need to sort before we even aim to get a striker, because we've seen it with Højlund. What use is it having a number 9 when you cannot even get the ball to him? it's useless. What point of it having a number 9, spending 70 million on a striker when, you know, our ball retention and our ability to break down the lines and get into the right positions is just pointless. We press as a team, and I'm guessing this is Eric Ten Hag instruction, but when United do press, and I don't know if you lot realized it yesterday, the holes that Spurs had to get into was ridiculous. And because of United's fitness levels, they can't get back. They can't get back. And it's proven time and time again. Don't get me started on Andre Onana. I'll be very honest with you. Yeah, I said he should only stay for yesterday's game if he was going to keep a clean sheet. Brother, you should have just gone to AFCON, gone and linked up with Cameroon, played your game today. You lot drew, yeah, because him being part of yesterday's team was pointless. You stayed because you felt threatened by a backup keeper that hasn't even played for United and probably looks like he will never play. He doesn't look like he's going to play anytime soon. And we were sold this idea about sweeper, keeper, all of this stuff. Guys, I've said this time and time again. I would have kept De Gea for another season gladly. I would have kept De Gea gladly for another season if it gave us the opportunity to buy other positions that we could have filled. I think Eriksen, and a player who I think is great, he's losing his legs, and that's it's crazy. It's funny because we brought Mason Mount, but that's also pointless. And let me quickly touch on the likes of, unfortunately, like Rashford, Garnacho, etc. I think that everyone's depleted. I feel like the players are in a position where they are depleted, and if you can't look to your manager for some sort of inspiration, you know, we can say that the players are down tooling, but also why can't the players feel inspired by the manager on the touchline? Then there's a loss of relationship there. If there's so many times that United are struggling, you know, whether it's defensively, in transition, in a game, you know, we could talk about Nottingham Forest. There's so many games this season that I could actually bring up, but if they look to the touchline and there's no sort of inspiration that they can look to, I'm sorry, but they're just going to feel like they're not capable of doing anything. And sometimes, I'll be honest, but Eric Ten Hag, he also looks like he's lost inspiration in them. So it's like, where do you find the middle ground? Do you say it's the players down tooling and we need to get rid of half of them? Or do you say, you know, the manager can't get nothing out of these players and he's not a good coach? Don't get me wrong. I think Ten Hag is a great coach. Unfortunately, I feel like he's down tooled himself to kind of fit the narrative of what it is to be a Manchester United manager. I feel like he's, you know, we praised his ruthlessness. Yeah, last season we praised it when he dropped Rashford after Wolves. We praised it. Suddenly this season, everybody was against it when he exiled Jadon Sancho from it. I feel like this season he's really changed from what he was last season, and inevitably I think that's what's going to get him sacked. I don't think it's going to be the results. I don't think it's going to be the players down tooling. I don't think it's Marcus Rashford just running into. He thinks he's a bulldozer sometimes. I think he thinks he's a transformer. He thinks he's a bulldozer where he can bulldoze. I don't think that's what's going to get him sacked. I think what's going to get Eric Ten Hag sacked is the fact that he's changed from what he came in as. And now, you know, for example, he said he didn't come in to play the Ajax way. Bro, that's exactly why you came. That's literally exactly why you came.
So it's not going to be anything to do with like he's not as good
I don't think it's obviously it's going to be the results and United finishing out of the top 4. But I think that the core part of that is that he's completely changed what he once stood for, just to kind of suit the narrative of what it is to be a Manchester United manager. And don't get me wrong, a lot of other managers have unfortunately fell to that. Jose Mourinho, Louis van Gaal, they all fell to that. And the only way that will hopefully change, Ineos is going to fix it all. That's what we were told.
Ineos can't lose. They can't lose Ineos because Ineos have come in our worst ever performing season. So if Ineos say tomorrow we're getting rid of Ten Hag and we're starting again, blah blah blah, we can't criticise it because we cannot justify keeping Ten Hag. I want to keep him. And I believe that there's something there that with support from a technical director, with a new chief executive or whatever and so on, a support structure behind him, I'm sure we could get there. But football's it's a results business. I know it's a metaphor, but it is. It's a results business. We're Manchester United and the Glazers will overrule. They will overrule Radcliffe because if Radcliffe wants to keep him, and Manchester United are 12th in the league and not got European money, and next year start off bad, I don't care how much Radcliffe has got a say in it. Them Glazers as owners ultimately will turn around and say, this ain't good enough. This is not good enough.
They still got final say. They still got final say.
Exactly. Yeah. And I do think if they hadn't have come in, if the Radcliffe hadn't come in, he could have gone by now. There's no other manager perform like he has since Ferguson's gone and lasted that long. There is no other manager.
Actually, let's get the super chats out because there is a lot. I think we only read the first 3, so Rival fans mock it. So Kevin Gary Styler, KG being happy with that result slash performance is like catching your wife and a guy before they do it, but you're happy you haven't done it yet.
That's crazy. He said that.
Wajid says Flex was as Eric Ten Hag out as can be without saying it. That's like Wajid thinks that. KG was trying to say that, just say it. I don't know how many times I need to say that. Like,
he was
there is this weird thing with that though, isn't there? When you criticize,
this is what I mean. As soon as you criticize the manager, it means
when you criticize him, they're like, just say it. Say it. Like you know.
Wajid was there the whole stream. He was in the end. You know, at the end when we're all doing it, he's on the player ratings, the one that calls me out. So he's been there. So he saw everything. So
that's his KG's interpretation of it, and Wajid was, oh, you're talking about Eric Ten Hag and you're saying some of the things bad he's done. Wajid said, come join the dark side. That's what he said. I was like, that's not what I'm saying. I'm just talking about the manager. If you're taking, I don't know how many times I need to say that. I've said a lot of times, actually, the outcome I want is like what KG said, for him to be given a chance with the new outlook of what it is, with less say so on the transfers, etc., etc. But if you keep doing the madness and you're not inspiring the players, and we don't, and you've said that when we get players back from injury, we're going to improve, and then we don't, what are we left with? You're making it really easy for Ineos to go to the end of the season and say, we'll just start again fresh. That's all I'm saying. Exactly. United Nate TV says...
But guys, when everyone just says start again fresh, it's not that simple, bro. Like,
for Ineos, it could be, because they're saying we weren't here then. We'll just start again.
They spent 1.5 billion pounds. For them, it might be that simple, KG. I mean, I would have agreed with you. I would agree with you. I mean, I get it. I mean, it's facetious to go like, this won't. I say it, I'll get rid of everyone. You can't get rid of everyone, obviously. But this is the thing that he could be swept up in Ten Hag is, unless there is like a takeover, which is not, but unless there's an acquisition like this, it's very rare that like the CEO, director of football, head of recruitment, they all go in the same period of time, and football operations gets completely overhauled, with new ideas coming in above you as well. So like they might perceive it as the perfect time. They might be like, hey, we don't want to get caught up. We don't want to be like a Thomas Tuchel situation. Like they might think of it like that. And that's not atypical when people buy into clubs. Like, if anything, it's quite regular.
Exactly. They want to bring in their own guy.
They might just want that.
This is, I think we're doing it like it's the typical Man United cycle. We have to, like, right now, again, this manager has to improve, he has to get better. We have to literally, the killer is he needs time. And managers make mistakes on signings. And no manager in the league can say they haven't made a mistake or haven't got it wrong. Now, his mistakes are so glaring because the mistakes at Man United stay forever. The Maguire.
Here's the question, though, KG. You said he needs to get better. Do you think he can? Do you think he can get better?
Yes, he can. If you take away, I don't want him. I want him saying, I could work with this player, but I don't want him saying, bring him in. Even the rumors of De Ligt coming to Man United, that's the new rumor today and stuff. No, you know what I mean? Like right now, is that what we need? Is that what's going to improve us? I'm talking about him being in a situation where we're like people selecting players the same way how what Brighton have done, where they bought in players for cheap and they've developed. We need to be, we're literally in a situation where the sins of the past have messed with us totally. And there's no one's cared about this club for years on years. And guess what? The person that's going to get the brunt of all of this is Ten Hag. And I understand it. For a lot of people, that's fine. But guess what, guys? Even now, they're saying he's uninspiring on the touchline. And the players are not happy. The players are probably not enjoying training, this, that, and the other. We've heard this story before. So then guess what? We pull the trigger, new guy comes in. And Ten Hag's first season was, what do you call it? It was FA Cup final, third place, Carabao Cup, and I don't know how far he took us in the Europa. That's a good in his first season. That's a good first season, and he didn't do it in the way he wanted to. He had to kind of work. He had to kind of play a different style of football. This year, he's tried to implement his style. It has not worked. This year, we've had a bunch of injuries. That's not helped. But then again, on Ten Hag, Ten Hag's made mistakes. I'm not going to say that he can't put his hand up to any mistakes in his team. But I'm like, guys, if if we bring in the next guy, we're gonna be here again in 8 months, 9 months. Because again, this club is toxic.
But Ineos might not see it like that because they're coming in and bringing in something different that hasn't been here before.
But then I'm telling you, but I'm saying to you, Flex, that there's a reason why that every player that comes in transfer doesn't do well. There's a reason why when they leave, they go and prosper. Every time they leave this club, players prosper. They do better, not in this place. So there's something on across the Ashley Young. Where Ashley Young left, done well.
We lean into that Ashley Young and Lukaku thing so much, by the way. Jesse Lingard ain't got a club at the moment. David De Gea don't have a club at the moment
because they want money. They're staying out for money. That's what they ask to be.
That negates your point that you just everyone that leaves does well.
No, I'm saying. So you're telling me that people don't have success not at Man United? I'm saying when
I'm
Bruno
saying it's like everywhere. It's 50-50.
Let me land this. When Bruno plays for Portugal, he plays fantastic. When even Fred, when he plays for Brazil, it's fantastic. There's
Scott McTominay.
Everyone that is not at this club does well. So what?
International football is different to club football.
Yeah, we know.
I think the circumstances of international football, like if you do club for club like a comparison, I get it. Di Maria left United. He's done relatively well at
Pogba's gone back to Juve after thinking he might not ever play again.
He's done great.
But then again, so we're gonna say by that Pogba taking having whatever drug situation that he is. I'm telling you that Pogba's still a class player. Even right now, people are glazing over
KG.
Allegedly.
When he came back in, people were glazing in that little game. And even Jadon Sancho, even when he done well the other day, he was trending. That was all his, look, Ten Hag, this, that, and the other. I said, guys, this is going to happen. And no one wanted to, it was ridiculous. So now I just think that with Man United, we need to remember this is the cycle. We've had different types of managers, and then after we're gonna get to this point, they're uninspired. And then you'd say, get these players out. Well, how? Because now I'm getting money for these players.
KG, but what I'm saying and what Flex is saying, I accept every single thing what you've said. However, you've now got a new team in that Ineos know what the problems have been. They've come in and they've looked at the books. They've now seen that X is on 300,000, such a bar is on 250,000. We still owe 300,000. We still owe 300 million. Sorry, to other clubs where we signed these players from, and that's why we've amassed so much debt. So they're not. I don't for one minute think that Sir Jim Ratcliffe has bought Man United to have a situation where he's got a toxic dressing room where people are going to be on £300,000 a week and bothered more about their Instagram posts than what they are about scoring goals. I can't see it. Is a successful businessman.
The response to that is because we're going to be here in a little while when we don't see what we want in for them, and everyone's going to say, "Well, they've only got 25%." No, because the new argument is going to be, the new coverage is going to be, well, he can't do everything. He's got 25%. That's been the argument for a while. We're now saying, all right, Sir Jim's going to come in and fix it. Wicked. Let's see what he does. But guys, when you deep it, this guy does have 25% and he can be vetoed at any moment. So even if he says, well, let's bring in this guy, and this guy, the Glazers still have to say, we'll agree to that. That's the situation we find ourselves in. Bro, Maguire.
Go
on.
But what we're saying, KG, is that you've got a new pair of eyes looking at it. You've got a new pair of eyes. And all we can hope for as fans is what we would expect is that when we look at the Maguires and we look at the McTominays or whatever, they see what we see and say, that's not good enough. And we are invested in $1.5 billion. Hopefully, in the longer term, we'll get a lot more or whatever. So they recognise they need to make changes. Is Ten Hag the man to make those changes? Now, they're in the ideal situation to make that decision today and say, right, we've seen what he's done with Sancho. He did it with Ronaldo. He's a strong character. He's a very strong character. And he will not tolerate indiscipline. And they'll be all for that. They will be all for that as owners, right? So it's how much they prefer to trust him in 2 more transfer windows with another possibly £300 to £400 million. And that's the question. Can they trust him with another 300-400
million? I don't want him. I don't trust Ten Hag in looking for players. That's
the
part
problem,
that
KG. It's
I
in
don't
his
trust.
contract. But the thing is, when it comes to the recruitment thing, that's in his contract, his veto thing. This is what I've been saying too. My worry is Ten Hag and Ineos. They're going to be on a collision course when it comes to recruitment. Now, someone said, "Oh, why can't they be totally aligned?" Well, they might be, and I suppose that's what Ten Hag's got to hope. Because if they're not totally aligned, then again, I think he'd be in trouble. And you also bring up last season, KG, and I've been with you with this stuff. And you go, "Well, last season." Finished third. No one expected that. Got to a cup final. Of course, we didn't win that. We won the Carabao Cup. But then, at this point, it's been followed up, which could possibly be like an historically bad season for Man United in the Premier League too. So does I saw a stat before the game against Spurs, and it was if we'd lost that game, because we had 9 losses in the league, it had been like the most games we'd lost by this point in the season ever, and whenever that has happened or something like that in the past, we've always changed manager mid-season. So he's on that sort of tipping point at this stage of the season already. And my point being is, I'm with you. You can't forget what he achieved last season, but this is just in general kind of what Flex is saying. Like, it's not a blind pass, though. He doesn't get a blind pass in the same way the players don't, and the same way obviously everyone doesn't. But I do agree with what Flex is kind of saying when you point out, like yesterday, you go, why are we getting dominated at home possession with Spurs when their manager's been there, for half the time as Eric, and they've got players? Why is that happening? And if the pushback is injuries, that's just not good enough. Like that if his excuse is, it's injuries, well, they've got injuries too. Like, there's no acceptable reason for Spurs. We say, lads, it's only Spurs. Well, lads, it's only Spurs came to Old Trafford and passed us off the park yesterday. How is that acceptable? And I get the players can't do it, and I get recruitment's bad, but everyone has to shoulder some of the blame. Everyone has to, because if we get into this territory of like, it doesn't matter, he gets a blind pass. Like, at some point, you do have to have that conversation.
I think, but we're like, and Minna, jump in on this thing. I think people are like me saying that. I've never given a blind. I've never said it as simple as, it's not like when Flex says, "Well, I'm Ten Hag out." I haven't said Ten Hag shouldn't shoulder any blame. I'm saying that the blame, though, there's so many issues at Man United to just say, "Hey guys, we're gonna do the typical what we've been doing in the past: manager facelift. Players get excited. Everyone's on board. Everyone loves this new manager. They're doing press ups. They're doing all this stuff, and it's brilliant." And
I don't think people are saying that. I don't think people are saying just get rid of. I don't think people are saying just get rid of manager and keep the players. I think people are saying get rid of the players, get rid of the executives, which they are, and it might be a case of, well, whilst we're doing that, are we confident that he's the guy to lead in these new players and work with these new executives?
No, because we do this thing. A new manager comes in and we say we do this thing when we say new manager, clean slate, everyone clean slate. That's what happens. We always start again.
Correct. It does happen. You're right. See, there's 2 points, isn't there? The point here, right? Is from the cards behind. That's not me. That's not me.
What did you do? That's the new thing. What did you do?
KG, do the peace sign. Do the peace. Do the peace sign, KG.
It's Apple. They're taking the liberties. Wait, there you go.
Yeah. Right. So,
how to get the fireworks?
2 points. 2 points to look at. Right?
Yeah.
One with the fans goes in his favour. The Glazers, when he needs help, give him Regulon, Weghorst, Sabitzer, right? And nobody wants them. Their own clubs don't want them. So there's a sympathy there. So when he needs support, he's not getting it. On this one, right? They give him 60, 70 million for Onana. They give him 60, 70 million for Mason Mount. And when he was fit, he was never in the team anyway. They give him money for Anthony. So there's 2 ways to look at it, isn't there? They've given the money on one hand, but when he's needed a little bit of help and additional help, they haven't supported him.
Sorry, Kenny. We are listening.
I know.
KG thinking, how did Kenny get the fireworks? Why does he got the fireworks and I ain't got the fireworks?
It was like 2 thumbs close. It was like
what
2
did you
thumbs
do,
close
Kenny?
like that. It was 2 thumbs like that.
He was like,
it was wicked.
He was doing it very quick as well. So I don't know.
Crazy. Something like that.
It's an Apple thing.
But Apple, what? Like, how's that happening? I don't get it.
I don't know.
We just looked. KG does the piece and balloons appear the other day. That was tremendous.
Yeah, I just do the thumb and a thumb will come up in the corner.
Someone said if you do the rock sign, a laser will show.
Yeah, there you go.
The rock sign.
What's the
The
rock?
rock. What's that? That's that
Is that-
rock.
Is it not this?
I like that. Like that.
Scissors.
KG, try that.
What is it? Oh, rock, paper, scissors. Yeah, rock, paper, scissors.
She just trolled me in it. She's a white.
Minister. Do you know what? There's a load of super chats which I actually started. I read one and then it led to 15 minutes. You lot just went into it. Right, I think it was after Wajid. Right. United said Rashi in a match is like a KG monologue. Things start off well. He pulls a madness and you walk away scratching your head, LOL. Benji says sell Rashi, doesn't show up for the badge. Kishan says, do you not think the players are refusing / not capable or of playing any style like they did with Rangnick? Has Erik ten Hag just become a bad manager? ? Kyle says a good system exists without quality, but a good system cannot exist without ability. There is a difference. Newcastle United, Spurs, change quality, not ability. We suffer both. That's why we lack identity. Kyle says, how can you play Erik ten Hag football with the players who have pathetic technical ability? Owen. Santiago says, can we talk about how bad we are in aerial duels, both offensively and defensively? We are 16th in the league for headed goals and concede numerous goals. Joffrey says, what is Ange's style of play besides high line? Big up everyone. Also, has Erik ten Hag ever told us what he's looking for in style from the States? Show says, can't score, can't defend set pieces, can't score set pieces, no shape on and off the ball, but Casemiro Martinez will fix it with the thumbs up. And Aaron King says, Dave Brelford said the first sign of a loser is moaning. Bruno and Rashi will not survive Ineos. And Don F says, guys, there's no defense for Ten Hag. Time for change. Let's stop waffling excuses. So it's a lot of strong words. Where are we at with the likes as well? We got 258 and we got nearly 1,500 people watching, guys. I'm sure we can get to 500. I know we can get to 500. So please, if you haven't done so already, it's been obviously an intense stream, a lot of debate, a lot of back and forths. That's what the full view is all about.
A lot of special effects.
A lot of special effects. That's what the full view is all about. So get involved. Please do. Remember, this video is brought to you by Crack Soli as well. Link is in the video description below to check out all of their gear, all of their stuff. Doing it big out there in LA. Big up to Alfredo of Crack Soli. If you need all your football gear, or your undergarments, or your grip socks if you play, or your training gear if you play, or if you're into your fashion and streetwear, all of your hoodies, all of your tracksuits, your t-shirts, short sets, backpacks, wash bags, everything, puffer jackets for the winter, hoodies, it's all there. And we've got a lot of stuff coming up with them. And we've also got a lot of stuff coming up with United District. And those of you have been talking about seeing it on Twitter /X in that time as well. Massive account, United District. They're doing great stuff. And we've got some stuff coming up with them as well. Just to remind you before we carry on, where are we at? Is that all the super chats done? It is. Yeah. Actually, KG was asking Minute to come in, I think, actually. But he didn't really...
just want to know what our thoughts on this.
Yeah,
I want to just know about football and why we can't handle throw-ins.
I don't know. It's an interesting one. When was the last time United were actually even good at set pieces, whether it was defending or even attacking set pieces? I remember pretty much for the first. That's a long time ago. That is a long time ago. I remember like the first 3 months of the season. When we were talking about Rasmus's goal drought, a lot of the time we were talking about the fact that we weren't putting balls in. And then as soon as he comes off, suddenly we're putting balls into the box. I don't think he's a great player in there from what I've seen personally. So sometimes I feel like that could be an instruction. But that aside, you should give him an opportunity, and others. You see McTominay making late runs, sometimes Rashford, etc., Garnacho. You should give them opportunities to get on the end of it. I think the biggest part of our set pieces is our corners. I think our corners are absolutely horrendous. There's no difference to me, Bruno taking a corner and when flipping Phil Jones took a corner like 10 years ago for United.
Yeah,
I genuinely don't see any different. Do you remember when he put his hands in the air?
Why did he do that? What game was that? Someone they're all good at trivia, but someone will
Yeah,
get that. What
but,
game was that where Phil Jones took a corner? Oh
Was
my
that Van
goodness.
Gaal era? I feel it was like
It
a
was
Van
it was
Gaal,
Van
isn't it?
Gaal. It was under
Yeah.
Van Gaal. Yeah, it was under
Yeah.
Van Gaal. But I just think like our set pieces, especially corners, is so poor. Is like we never beat the first man. And you can switch up the first free kick, the first corner taker, all the time. Whether it's Bruno, Ericsson, etc. Never beat the first man. Maybe sometimes when it's Luke Shaw, but that's even a maybe. But I'll be honest, the bigger issue when it comes from scoring from set pieces, I think it's worse that we can't defend set pieces.
That's a big thing. That's on the coaching, 100%.
Yeah, I think it's worse.
Exactly.
That we can't, I wouldn't care if we couldn't score from set pieces as long as we could defend them. But the thing is that I feel like there's a combination of problems there. I think the goalkeeper is an issue because he's gone from allegedly being a sweeper keeper to suddenly his feet being stuck to his line, and he makes me very anxious even when he does come out for the ball, because the first time I saw him in his Premier League debut, he absolutely knocked a man out. Against Wolves.
I remember that one.
You remember when he knocked him out and we all thought, oh my God, we're going to lose that game. And he got away with it.
The game.
And then he done it again a couple of weeks later. I don't know if you but he makes me nervous. Our defenders as well makes me nervous as well. I think Wan-Bissaka is always sometimes caught sleeping. Diogo Dalot, Varane, Evans, whoever it is. And sometimes I just feel like there is no structure when it comes to defending set pieces. We conceded 2 against Galatasaray. Where we basically got knocked out of the Champions League in my eyes, and that's just a list of all the problems that we have. That is a list. But honestly, if we weren't conceding, so I think 2 of our biggest problems this season when it comes to conceding goals is set pieces and cutbacks. And I think the issue with cutbacks is that our midfielders always are there's just holes in our midfield. Kobe is a lone midfielder sometimes, and then like for example, if it's Ericsson, McTominay, etc., never tracking a run. They're never tracking a run. So I think that's our 2 biggest problems. Forget scoring from set pieces. Before we can run, we need to walk, and we can't even walk right now. We're just about crawling.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. Especially on the set pieces. Listen, guys, been a packed show, jam-packed show. That's what the Full View is all about. Big opinion, full opinion, all the way through. Follow it through and back it up with your statements. You know what I'm saying? That's what it is.
By the way, subscribe to KG's channel. You can see that number there, 35,950.
Come on, that should be 36.
Did it just go down by 1?
There must be at least 50 people in here that haven't subscribed to his channel yet. That we got nearly 1,500 people watching. 50 people can go to KG's channel right now and subscribe.
That'd be really lovely.
100%.
Listen, I gotta go into boxing. I know I'm stressing you out as Man United fans, but I'm just gonna hold tight, man. I'm gonna listen. There's a lot of things to fix. I'm just like, the manager's the last thing on my list. But yeah, big up everybody.
Yeah.
Peace,
Big up to everyone, and we'll see you all again on the Out of View again. Oh, he's gone. He's just gone.
He's gone.
He's gone. He's just gone. I'm out of it. Yes, and we will see you tomorrow. Transfer View as usual in the morning. Me and Owen. And yes, we'll see what comes off of this week. If there's any news, talk about Man United trying to get a striker, like KG just said about this De Ligt thing in the summer. There's so much going to go on. Ineos are involved now as well. So, yeah, buckle in. Anyway, guys, big up to Minna, big up to Kenny. KG's already gone. Big up to you guys. Big up to Owen. And we'll see you again tomorrow morning. Peace.
See you.